Welcome to Channel Japan. I'm Makia Rai.
And I'm Makiko Utsuda.
Every week we bring you the freshest information out of Japan from our studio here in Tokyo.
From the economy to culture and even foods, if you want to find out what's happening in Japan right now, this is where you'll find it.
So these are our topics for today.
An interview with a major railway company seeking growth through a diversification strategy.
In World Business Satellite, a company dressing up its trial fitting service to increase sales.
Businesses that pay people with a beef, collecting complaints to improve services.
And a craftsman who invented the world's first device that makes toilet paper automatically. So let's get started. First, we have a video report from the Nikkei Online edition.
Yes, now today we'll be looking at a new service started by a top fast fashion brand, and we have a video of it, so let's take a look.
It's Uniqlo.
Yes, that's right. And this store in Ginza, Tokyo is the branch that started the new service.
So what kind of service is it?
Well, customers can make t-shirts with any design they want.
Well, I think I've heard of other stores that offer something similar.
But there's a big difference. You can actually create the design by using a smartphone or tablet device.
It's nice.
After launching the app, customers can use their own imagination to create a truly one-of-a-kind t-shirt. First, there's a painting function to draw anything you want. Also, one to type in the alphabet. And you can even use a photo from your digital album or take an actual picture with the device and print it onto the t-shirt.
So by using this application, it has painting and also alphabet input functions, which you can use for the design, and also another interesting function. By shaking the device, you can give it a more artistic touch.
Oh, this is a neat function, isn't it? Isn't it? Oh, nice. I wonder how it looks. Can't wait to see it.
And by downloading the app, you can create your own design and order it online from anywhere. And the t-shirt is delivered to your address, in some cases, the very next day.
Well, it looks like it's done.
It does, doesn't it? Once the ink's dry, it's finished.
For example, for Father's Day, some people may feel a bit bashful about saying thank you directly. We believe this may be a unique way of using this service. With these t-shirts, we're hoping to open a new channel of communication.
So let's see how it looks.
Well, it's exactly like the original design.
Now, this service is still only available in Japan, but the company plans to launch it in other markets soon.
So that's something to look forward to.
Definitely.
And moving on to Executive Insight.
Yes. Now, this time we'll be looking at the railway industry. And our interview is with the chairman of Kyushu Railway Company, or known as JR Kyushu, Koji Karaike. And JR was established 25 years ago after the privatization of a government-owned railway called Japan National Railways.
Well, I know that the name changed after it was privatized.
Yes, you're right. And after becoming private, it was split further into 6 firms, which we have on a map over here. 6 firms. And the company we'll be hearing from today oversees train operations here in Kyushu, which is in southwestern Japan.
So is there anything that distinguishes JR Kyushu from the others?
It's by making trains more of an enjoyable ride that they say they've been able to attract tourists and increase passenger numbers, and that includes domestic as well as foreign travelers.
Overseas tourists are also...
Exactly, yes.
I see.
And if you can take a look at this map over here, this is Hakata, which is in Fukuoka Prefecture and the biggest city in the Kyushu region. And when you draw a circle around it, so you can see Busan in South Korea is 200 kilometers away, and then Hiroshima is about 250 kilometers away. And then another circle, Shanghai, China, and Tokyo are both 900 kilometers away. So as you can see, some cities in Asia are closer to it and then Tokyo.
Interesting. So I assume JR Kyushu is targeting tourists from Asia.
You're right. And company chairman Koji Karaike talks with us about his strategy to bring more tourists from Asia to the region. So take a look.
Executive Insight. One railway company in Japan is running unique trains for the express purpose of riding enjoyment. This is a steam locomotive built about a century ago. It had been warehoused since being taken out of service, but was reintroduced 5 years ago. Panoramic windows offer an unobstructed view of the scenery. The train is named Asoboi. It has various features designed to make train travel fun for both children and adults. This train has a black and white exterior. Inside, local wood is used lavishly, and the seats are positioned sideways toward the view outside. When the train pulls into a station, white smoke billows from the door area, recreating a scene in a local children's story. All of these trains are operated by JR Kyushu, which oversees local and Shinkansen railways across the entire Kyushu region. Why are they now pushing tourism trains? Company chairman Koji Karaike explains their new growth strategy.
I'd like to ask you about the tourism train, which is a big focus for the company now. Would you say that it's a significant deviation from the traditional railway business?
Traditionally, railways and trains have been considered a method of transport. But we saw a different possibility, that riding a train is enjoyable in and of itself. You arrive at a destination just by getting on a train, even if it doesn't actually take you to a particular destination. By positioning trains as a tourism resource, they can become even more central to the revival of local economies. Our primary objective is to energize prefectural regions. We want to find a way to cheer up local people. That, in turn, will galvanize our own business. We are constantly thinking about how to first energize the region.
Mr. Karaike's solution to revitalizing the local economy is the tourism train. Compared to other JR companies, Kyushu has lagged behind in terms of revenue. JR Kyushu operates in a region with few cities, and many of their lines run through towns and villages with shrinking populations, meaning fewer passengers. Mr. Karaike began introducing tourism trains as a way to attract passengers from outside Kyushu. Revitalizing local economies isn't the only objective. For example, a tourism train called Take the A Train, connecting Kumamoto and Misumi, that began service 3 years ago. Named after a renowned jazz composition, it features a bar counter and an atmosphere geared toward an older crowd. The terminal station, Misumi, is bustling with activity on weekends when the train operates. And in Kamiamakusa, a town through which the train passes, jazz concerts are held regularly, drawing large numbers of visitors. Tourism trains are bringing excitement to local residents. What's more, Kumamoto Station, the A train starting point, is also a stop for the Shinkansen. The introduction of tourism trains that pass through Kumamoto Station has helped increase passenger numbers on this particular Shinkansen line. The company hopes that if tourism trains across Kyushu become more popular, passenger numbers across the region's entire rail network will grow. And in 2013, the luxury sleeper train 7 Stars in Kyushu was unveiled.
We started thinking about this 25 years ago, about how great it would be if there was a luxury sleeper train in Kyushu. After running several tourism trains within the region, we felt confident that we could make it happen. We wanted to make something great, and the culmination of our efforts was the 7 Stars in Kyushu.
The route begins in Hakata Station and circles the entire region. The 3-night, 4-day trip costs between $4,000 and $13,000 a person. All rooms on board are suites. The interior, furniture, and furnishings are all original designs. None of the 14 rooms are alike. The wash basins in the bathrooms were all designed by craftsmen recognized by the government for their exceptional techniques and designated as living national treasures. The sliding door was made by a furniture craftsman from Kyushu without using a single nail. 7 Stars in Kyushu is a train loaded with Japanese craftsmanship.
When you look out from the window of the train at the scenery, it's as if you're looking through a picture frame. Kyushu has Aso and Sakurajima and other grand and beautiful natural scenery. But seeing Sakurajima from the ground and seeing it as a picture in a frame are two completely different experiences. Our train is the picture frame.
7 Stars in Kyushu cost $30 million to build.
We built 9 tourism trains. But when putting together 7 Stars in Kyushu, the anxiety and the motivation were entirely different. Emotionally, half was worry, but the other half was a sense of confidence. After all, ticket prices are over 10 times those of a regular train.
Despite that, they decided to build this super luxury sleeper train to promote Kyushu across Japan, as well as throughout the world.
Internationally, people just don't know about Kyushu. So I want to somehow promote the region. The population in Japan is continuing to shrink. To energize Japanese industries, especially tourism, I believe we need to attract more people from overseas. In order to do that, it's crucial to create products and services that will appeal to them, that will interest them. It's a train to market the region to the world.
Seven Stars in Kyushu can carry a total of 30 passengers. They began accepting reservations 6 months ago, but demand has outstripped capacity by 40 times. It's a train that's not easy to get a seat on. Concerned that tourists from overseas would be left out, they decided to set aside 2 rooms specifically for foreign guests. Many tourists from abroad are said to visit Tokyo and Kyoto for genuine Japanese food, hot springs, shopping, nature, and historical and cultural sites. Mr. Karaike believes that they have an opportunity to draw foreign tourists to Kyushu.
We've been saying that tourists from overseas don't need to go all the way to Tokyo or Kyoto, that visiting Kyushu is more than enough. We have nature, food, and even hot springs. Kyushu has the best hot springs in all of Japan. Culture and shopping, there's plenty of those in Kyushu. We want to link all of that with 7 stars in Kyushu or with tourism trains. Then, foreign tourists won't have to go all the way to Tokyo or Kyoto to get the full experience thereafter.
He says their strategy of luring foreign tourists to the region is slowly bearing fruit. This tourism train, called the Forest of Yufuin, has been in service for 25 years. 60% of its passengers are from overseas.
For my friend, tell us this train is very famous. Service is different. Yeah, it's very good.
People from abroad who are knowledgeable about Japan and who travel here frequently are familiar with Kyushu. And many of them say they're very interested in Yufuin or Kurokawa Hot Springs and genuinely traditional inns in the area and want to visit. I've heard that in some countries, Yufuin Hot Springs is considered one of the must-go places in Japan.
JR Kyushu also boasts something else that no other railway company has: businesses that span beyond traditional train operations. They are engaged in real estate, restaurants, convenience stores, and even agriculture. A breakdown by business shows that non-railway operations make up about 60% of total revenue.
Looking ahead, the population will continue to shrink. Railways are a mature industry, so we don't expect significant growth in the future. We decided to develop and evolve in other areas. Of course, the railway remains very important. So, while anchoring ourselves to railways with one foot, we want to stretch out. That, I believe, will be our engine of growth. Umaya, a restaurant in Akasaka, Tokyo. It is operated by JR Kyushu. Here, customers can taste dishes from the region. This is a Kyushu specialty. It's charcoal grilled.
Charcoal grilled chicken is a specialty of Miyazaki Prefecture in Kyushu. The most popular lunchtime menu is an a la carte of different dishes. Various Kyushu specialties, including spicy cod roe and sashimi from Fukuoka Prefecture. There's one thing that most customers are said to order. This. Raw egg. Fresh egg is poured on top of rice, raw.
Delicious.
This egg is actually produced by JR Kyushu. The company operates not only restaurants, but poultry farms as well.
Is the restaurant concept also aimed at raising the profile of the Kyushu region?
Yes. We use all kinds of ingredients from Kyushu. It's been a hit with customers. We want to do all we can to promote Kyushu. We're passionate about that.
In addition to eggs, they also grow rice, chives, tomatoes, and various other produce on their own farms.
Another focus for you is agriculture.
Kyushu has long been an agricultural powerhouse. If you step out of the cities, there are farms and fields all around. But many of them have been left fallow or abandoned. There are farms that haven't been cared for. As a company involved in tourism, it's an especially sad sight to see. From the windows of the train, you want to see terraced rice paddies stretching out into the distance. Or Villages still thriving here and there on the mountainside. It's scenery that's enjoyable to look at from a train window.
He believes revitalizing agriculture is about reclaiming the natural scenery of Kyushu. And that's what will bring in the tourists.
How do you ultimately see the company evolving over the long term?
We want to become a company that re-energizes local towns, that cheers up the entire region. I believe railways can contribute to that end. Our contribution will come from expanding our non-railway business. This is crucial because we can't stop the population from shrinking. The question for us is how to survive. The path for our survival is to build up local economies.
The company aims to stage a turnaround by revitalizing local regions and drawing in tourists. But will they be able to get the world to look their way?
Tomorrow never ends with you. With you. When the morning falls, we there so long.
For life's greatest moments. Bridgestone.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could do this? We make things like this possible through the power of chemistry. We're the Kaiteki Company, Mitsubishi Chemical Holdings.
SMBC Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation.
Yanmar. Red. United. 세계의 조선. Passion. Spirit.次のプレミアムフィールドへ。
You're watching Channel Japan. Up next is an episode from TV Tokyo's World Business Satellite. So, Tsuda-san, what's the topic this time?
Yes, today we have a report on slightly unusual services that are opening up new business opportunities. But first of all, let me ask you, Arai-san, what's the most important thing you look for when you go buying clothes?
Well, design naturally, and the size, the color, and of course, when I really like something, I'll try it on and see if it fits me well.
Yes, and that's exactly what the service we'll be introducing today is about.
Well, trial fitting is something that you can do at any store, so what's different about this particular service?
Interestingly, the difference is that you can actually try on the clothes that you like and walk around outside the store before you buy them.
Is that really possible?
It is. And in fact, unconventional trial fitting services like this one are starting to be offered by various clothing stores, so take a look.
Apparel brand GU, which opened its first branch in Shibuya. They recently started a new service to survive in the area's fiercely competitive fast fashion market. Customers are permitted to try on the clothes and walk out the store.
Customers told us that what they really wanted to do was to compare our clothes with other brands, but that they had no choice but to pick and choose from a single store. We thought, why not let them wear our clothes and walk out? We're pursuing a new way of trying on apparel.
Customers are allowed to go anywhere they want as long as they come back by closing that day. And since it's a try-on, they are not obligated to buy the items afterwards. There's also no charge, even if the clothes get soiled. It's a strategy that carries a big risk for the store. So why did they decide to pursue this strategy?
Fashion is about discovering a new you. By trying on many different clothes, you can find that new you. We're trying to give customers various options.
GU's big focus now is try-ons. Their first initiative was in Shinjuku, a fitting room called Wonder Closet. It's a spacious room where customers can try on clothes with friends.
The black looks good on you, but white is also popular this season.
The customer has taken a liking to the black color. The staff member also recommends white.
I was just saying I might as well buy both.
At this store, customers buy an average of 2 items. Those who use the fitting room, on the other hand, are said to buy between 5 and 7 products.
Spending among users of the Wonder Closet is generally higher.
GU has seen firsthand the effect of a try-on in the Wonder Closet. With the launch of a new service in Shibuya, they hope to take the strategy a step further. On the same day as that announcement, another service was being introduced in Ikebukuro. The location is the Underground Arcade.
This is a virtual fitting room.
They say clothes can be tried on virtually here. Standing in front of the screen, a video image of the person is shown. Clothes picked out are superimposed, as if actually trying them on. This is run by apparel brand Urban Research, which also sells products online.
We wondered what would happen if an online shop appeared in a physical town.
The aim is to give online shops a physical presence through such fitting rooms.
When shopping online, I only buy from brands that I'm familiar with and know the sizing. But if I can find out how the clothes fit with something like this, it'll be easier to buy from a brand I don't know about.
This virtual fitting system was developed in-house. It costs $200,000 to set up one unit. They say the reason for such a big expense is because try-ons are becoming essential for online shopping as well.
Online businesses are slowly closing the gap with physical stores in the level of service they offer, and are starting to meet the demands of customers who want to try on clothes.
If shoppers find something they like, they simply proceed to the checkout page. The company plans to set up more of these rooms in heavy traffic locations, such as train station buildings. The aim is to tap new customers and drive sales.
From now on, I believe technology may surpass the physical world. In that sense, quickly getting a foothold on areas like this may open up new sources of profit for our company.
Other types of unique try-on services are helping apparel makers to expand rapidly. Du Classe targets women in their 40s and 50s. Last fiscal year, revenue exceeded $100 million, a major milestone for a 6-year-old company. Sales jumped 50% during the period. They showed us their fitting room. The design is plush, but there's nothing else that stands out.
I'm sure you'll get an enjoyable experience here, but if you come to our headquarters, you'll understand what's helping us increase sales.
So, we visited their headquarters. Taking up most of the office is a call center. The company has physical stores, but catalog mailings and their website bring in over 70% of sales. An operator is speaking with a customer.
If you'd like, I can try it on for you so that you can see how it will fit.
The operator starts putting on an item that the customer on the other end is interested in. Meanwhile, this operator is struggling to put on a dress, but
This is size 7. Can you try it on, please? Because I can't fit into it. The hem might be tight. Yes, you're right. But the top area is quite loose.
she asks a smaller-sized colleague to try it out and quickly gets back on the phone.
I just asked the size 7 person to try it on, and she said the back area is relatively tight. The upper section is loose and the lower section is a bit tight.
So, what's the customer's reaction? We were given permission to speak with her directly.
It's a service in which they wear an item and tell you how it fits. What do you think?
Yes, I'm surprised and grateful. She explained to me how it fits. It gives me a better idea of the product.
They believe that the try-on stand-in by operators is helping them capture repeat customers.
When we speak with customers, we make sure to communicate with them as if we're a friend.
The questions from customers vary, but surprisingly, there's no manual on how to respond. Even so, customer feedback has been good. The reason? How they select the operators.
The call center operators are all in the same age group and have similar body types as target customers. So, when an operator wears something, she can give an accurate description of the size, length, and silhouette of a product.
Going to the stock area to get the clothes that customers want can be time-consuming, but by providing an accurate description, they say the return rate has dropped, resulting in higher profitability.
Few companies provide a service like this. We can clearly differentiate ourselves from a service in which you just order what's in a catalog.
Physical and virtual stores, and even catalogs, all are pouring ideas and resources into try-on services. They may determine who wins and loses in the apparel world.
Well, that was a very interesting idea.
Wasn't it? And the service was offered on a trial basis for a limited time at a GU store at Shibuya Parko, but it attracted a lot of interest from customers and others in the apparel industry.
So what is the reason for doing something like this?
Well, I have a graph over here on the online shopping market in Japan, and as you can see, in 2012, sales were up nearly 13% year on year.
13% is a big jump.
It is. And especially when you look at the growth of online sales by category, you can notice that apparel and accessories have surged more than 20%.
So more people are buying clothes online.
That seems to be the case. And the number of people who visit physical stores has been on the decline. And this service was a way to bring customers back.
And what do we have next?
Yes, next we have another unusual service to identify new business opportunities. And I want to ask you, Arai-san, is there any aspect of your daily life that you want to complain about or feel dissatisfied with?
Well, when I get bad service, I want to complain. But one thing I hate the most is being put on hold when I call someone.
I see, that can be a bit irritating, that's true. Now this time we'll be showing you a service that buys any beef you have for this 10 yen, which is about 10 cents.
What do you mean they'll buy my gripes?
Yes, that's right. And all you need to do is to list up 50 complaints and send it to the company.
So what kind of complaints do they receive?
Well, we have a list of them over here. They're about complaints on restaurants, and some say coupons valid only for a limited time, there aren't places to store things, food samples are too elaborate compared to the real dish, or that customers feel rushed to order.
Right. So can buying a beef really be a viable business?
Well, we have a report on a company doing just that, so let's take a look.
Apparel manufacturer and retailer Uniqlo. Their stores are consistently stocked with 1,000 items to meet the differing tastes of customers. One of those is this camel-colored undergarment. Sales have been brisk, exceeding initial expectations.
When we stopped selling it last year, huge numbers of customers asked that it be relaunched.
The product is a so-called functional innerwear called Airism. There's a reason why the camel color was reintroduced this year. Customer dissatisfaction. Comments from customers in stores are sent to the customer service center. 96,000 forms are received every year. One customer demands more color choices for the product. Customers can also leave comments on the company's website. The beige color isn't see-through and is the best. The company decided to respond.
Compared to white innerwear, beige matches most people's skin tones and isn't as revealing.
With white, the neckline and sleeves show. Many customers wrote that the beige color doesn't make it obvious that they're wearing something underneath. Such feedback was the reason for relaunching beige innerwear.
The voice of customers is crucial for Uniqlo in product development.
One company sees a business opportunity in such customer-led product development. They are called the Dissatisfaction Acquisition Center. So how does it actually work? Shinpei Morita set up the company 2 years ago.
We buy any dissatisfaction that's out there in the world for 10 cents each. Then we categorize them by industry and sell them to companies for 5 cents.
The purchase of complaints is carried out through their website. After registering to the site for free, anyone can easily send in their gripes. Each is priced at 10 cents. They say about 1,000 grievances are received every month. Members selling their dissatisfactions now exceed 450.
These are the 50,000 complaints we received so far from our regular members.
The technique of the staff at a Thai massage place isn't uniform, and various other grumblings. So what do they do with these?
We segment them by industry, such as restaurants, hotels, and internet shopping. Then we sell them to companies that need the information.
The 50,000 grievances are segmented and sold to companies in sets. It is a business of buying complaints from consumers for 10 cents each and reselling them to companies for 5 cents. One of the sellers is a homemaker, Hiroko Yasuzawa. She listed up all the irritation she felt in daily life and sold 50 of them for $5.
I wrote about how much trash I had to deal with every day because of packaging paper and junk mail, and the time it takes for a red light to turn green on a major road.
Laments of a personal kind.
No one really wants to hear complaints, even if they're free. but these people want to pay me for them.
Toyohashi, Aichi Prefecture. We visited a company that opened its wallet to the whining of a consumer. Home seller Arden House Design. This March, company president Masaki Imai bought some complaints. They were immediately put to use. Metal fittings for gas and electricity lines and rain gutters, commonly attached to outer walls. The placement was left to the contractors and varied from house to house. But they didn't think there was any problem.
Customers wanted something more uniform and didn't like the random styles and placement. This service made us realize this issue.
They are now planning to develop standard fittings within the year. Mr. Imai has purchased 5,000 mainly housing-related complaints for a total of $250. For example, there's no servicing after the home is built, and once the contract was signed, people from the housing company stopped visiting. These complaints aren't directed at specific companies, but at the industry in general. Still,
we feel these complaints are actually about us. When thinking about how to improve services, we have to take an interest in the criticism that consumers have of the entire industry and their level of satisfaction in general.
By understanding the negative views against the entire industry, they believe they can reduce complaints and develop new products and services. The buying and selling of beefs is gaining steam. The Dissatisfaction Acquisition Center's Mr. Mori is eyeing a further expansion of the business.
I'm going to a seminar we organized for companies.
The seminar is a promotional event to expand a business they believe has big potential. About 20 executives from small and mid-sized firms are gathered.
We get a lot of different types of complaints, but didn't know how to address them. We haven't been able to utilize feedback to improve the situation on the ground. If we do that, we'll be able to change from the bottom up.
Each company is asked to write down their own grievances. They are used as material for the lecturer and participating companies to dig deeper into issues.
When it rains? When it rains, you get wet. That's my gripe. I don't think anyone believes that a business idea can be generated from this. But in response to the issue of someone troubled by getting wet when it rains, if a completely unrelated company takes the lead to think of a solution, then the scope of business ideas will dramatically expand.
Analyzing complaints to identify hints for business. With the submission of grievances on the rise, the company expects to swing into the black this fiscal year. The number of buyers is also growing, exceeding 1,200. Mr. Morita is on the move again. He's going about buying the complaints of companies attending the seminar as well.
7. Thank you. A complaint buying packet. There are 10-cent coins inside. This is what I use to pay for the complaints.
Complaints are a lifeline for businesses. The company's goal is to acquire 1 million of them.
Ultimately, I believe we'll become a business that handles a vast amount of data. In simple terms, a big data type of business. I think it will become huge.
Customer complaints are also a mountain of treasure. It's a business that may continue growing with no grumblings.
A mountain of treasure in grievances. Well, certainly an interesting business.
It is, isn't it? But then again, come to think of it, dissatisfaction when turned around does mean demand. So by researching what people want and expect from their complaints, it's possible to make improvements and enhance the quality of products and services.
Definitely. There are times when all of us say, it could be better only if.
Yes, I agree. And what may be small and what may seem small and insignificant can lead to big opportunities.
I agree. And when we come back, a new episode of Takumi.
Welcome to Tokyo Skytree. This is the grand panoramic view from 450 meters. Here you experience the unforgettable. Look, enjoy, be amazed, and be awestruck. That's what Tokyo Skytree is all about.
Japan's latest landmark,
Tokyo Skytree.
Man, look at all these cars.
Hey, have you heard, by the way? The Japanese company Kobelco is working to make the world's cars lighter.
So what does that mean?
Kobelco is using aluminum and steel technologies to make car parts and bodies lighter around the world.
Ah, Japanese technology. The country of karate. Ha! Ha! Ha!
Why do we always do that?
I don't know.
The talk of the world. Kobelco. Panasonic Ultra High Resolution 4K, extending the frontiers of TV.
Vamos lá.
Allowing passions to flow, values to converge, enhancing imagination. Places abloom with captivating images, bring a new kind of connection to people's lives. Panasonic 4K solutions. Break the boundaries.
Panasonic.
You're watching Channel Japan. Next, we bring you a segment called Takumi from Science View, a program produced by NHK that introduces the latest developments in science and technology in Japan.
Now, takumi literally means artisan in Japanese and is a word often used to describe a person with exceptional skill in a certain craft or a master technician.
So, what kind of artisan are we meeting today?
Yes, someone who makes toilet paper.
Toilet paper.
Toilet paper. And it's actually made of a material that's thrown away in large quantities, especially in offices. So take a look.
Hi, I'm in Kiryu City, Gunma Prefecture, north of Tokyo. Kiryu City is famous for its silk textile production. But today, it's not about silk, but this. Toilet paper. Our Takumi can make this using his innovative machine, the world's first. Let's go. Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
Today's Takumi is Kimihiro Nozawa. 15 years after coming up with the idea, Nozawa succeeded in creating the world's first automatic toilet paper fabrication machine. This is the machine. It is small enough to fit comfortably in an ordinary office. So, what is the toilet paper made of?
It's made of shredded office paper.
Really? You can really turn this into toilet paper? Paper is typically the largest source of waste material in an office. Shredded paper like this is placed in the machine. Press the start button, and in just 30 minutes, a roll of toilet paper pops out. Here's how it works. First, the paper is dropped into water and spun until it breaks apart. The resulting liquid is spread out into a thin sheet and dried. This dried paper is wound into toilet paper rolls. Why did you decide to make this machine?
We were the first company in Japan to develop and produce paper shredders. But most shredded paper is simply incinerated. Incinerating paper costs money and emits CO2 in the process. I thought there must be a better way.
Nozawa still has the first machine he used 15 years ago during the initial development process.
This was our test machine.
This is it?
Yes.
But it's a washing machine, an ordinary washing machine. With this washing machine, Nozawa perfected the balance of paper and water and the length of time they needed to be mixed.
We initially made regular recycled paper, but I thought that if we could make the paper thinner, we'd have toilet paper.
A major challenge during the development process was keeping the machine small. Nozawa initially contacted a company that designs paper-making machines. But the blueprint they came up with was for a machine 20 meters long. Nozawa couldn't see a future for such a large machine. For a time, he gave up on the project. But Nozawa couldn't let go of the idea that he might be able to make a better machine. He consulted a professor at Gunma University.
When I first heard the idea, it amazed me. It was an environmentally friendly concept. And his determination to make a smaller machine was also very moving to me.
With help from this professor, Nozawa figured out a way to make a smaller machine by adjusting the proportion of water and paper. Together, they made the first prototype. This is the very first toilet paper they produced. Very coarse. We can't really say it's a toilet paper yet. 4 years after making the first prototype, Nozawa completed the current design. The only things the machine needs are shredded paper, water, and 100 volts of electricity. It consumes about as much power as an air conditioner. Nozawa holds 4 patents for the machine in Japan. Buyers from other countries have also shown interest in the product.
I was able to shrink the size of the machine by simplifying the paper-making process. For example, I took out the bleaching process, and I recirculated the water. People told me I was crazy, that it wouldn't work, but I pulled it off.
What does manufacturing mean to you?
For me, manufacturing means making your dreams a reality by believing in yourself.
Well, copier paper is usually shredded and thrown away, so reusing it as toilet paper is a great idea.
They say it takes about 40 sheets of shredded copier paper to make one toilet roll, and it takes about 30 minutes to make one.
So that's not that long. And that brings us to the end of this edition of Channel Japan. We have much more in store for you, so join us again next week.
Omron is a company like no other. It defines expectations because engineers are constantly working on something new. Machines that are attuned to the way people think and move. Therein lies technology that will one day help the future. We automate. Omron.
Mitsui & Company. for the glorious future, leading the world in service and technology from Japan to the world. East Japan Railway Company.
Mitsubishi Electric is helping to change the environment for the better around the world.
Green subway systems in India.
Green solar power systems in Singapore.
Sistem AC ramah lingkungan di Indonesia.
Eco changes for a greener tomorrow. Mitsubishi Electric.